Hey guys, this is Shruti Anchor welcoming you all to the YouTube channel of Digital Cell of RSCOE. Today, in the next episode of Crack It, we have with us a very enthusiastic and vibrant personality. So, with no further ado, let's welcome Pranav Gadekar. He is in his final year and pursuing E&TC from JSPM'S Rajarshi Shahu College of Engineering, Tathavre. He is also the Training and Placement Executive at JSPM'S RSCOE and is currently placed in Persistent Systems. First of all, heartiest congratulations to you for your amazing achievement, Pranav.
Thank you so much, Shruti.
So this introduction is from my side. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Pranav Gadekar. I am currently in my final year and actually I'm placed in the Persistent Systems. And I'm also working as a training and placement executive at our JSPM RSU. Thank you.
Okay. So today we would be talking about your placement at Persistent Systems, and over the conversation we will explore various aspects starting from the selection process, the interview rounds, many do's and don'ts that one should follow, and what are the skills required to build your resume. So first things first, starting from your admission in RSCOE, how satisfied were you when you got into college? And secondly, why did you choose E&TC branch over all other branches?
Okay, so I got in the college to the government cap rounds and I was satisfied with my department because in 12th standard, I consulted one of my teachers and she guided me through the E&TC branch. At the first, I was confirmed that I want to join CS. But after that, after consulting with my teacher, I thought that E&TC is one of the very good branches where I can work on hardware stuff as well as software. And that is why I choose the E&TC branch. And I think I'm very satisfied with it. Yes.
Okay. So how were your initial years at RSCOE? And what were the co-curricular activities you took part in?
Okay. So my initial years were very interesting and very fun. From my first year itself, I have been participating in many different competitions and also joined robotics club and all. And during that time, I met very new people, I learned many new stuff. And it was quite enjoying and learning experience for me. Yes.
Okay, that's really great. So how participating in such co-curricular activities helped you building your personality?
So I think participating in competitions helped me in my improving my technical knowledge because when I joined the first into college, I thought that I do not know anything about the hardware part because initially I was just working on the coding stuff in my 12th standard and directly I entered the hardware stuff. And when I saw my colleagues and friends, they were directly working on the hardware stuff like Arduino. And I was starting like, what is Arduino? I do not know any basics. So by participating in this competition, I learned from the basics and kept improving day by day. And yes, during this time, I got many opportunities to participate in competitions like IIT Bombay Tech Fest and IIT Guwahati Tech Nation. During this time, I met very interesting people like ISRO scientists and got opportunity to talk with them and learn many new stuff. And I think that helped me to develop my confidence and technical knowledge. Yes, in the first 3 years.
Okay. So now, as you know, that many children are very confused that how to focus on both co-curricular as well as academics. So how you manage both?
So everything has a fixed time. So I divided my first 3 years. So I have invested my first 3 years in improving my technical knowledge and other stuff, and I have invested my last year in improving my soft skills so that I can improve in my soft skills, and so that they can improve, help me in my interviews and stuff. So there should be a proper balance between your academics and curricular activities because when you participate in many competitions and extracurricular activities, your studies and exams may hamper. That is, and time management is one of the best thing that you should do while participating and competing in extracurricular activities during this time.
Okay. So what are some things, particularly focusing on non-technical path, that that you would recommend to students should do by the end of first year or second year or third year?
Non-curricular activities. Okay, so first of all, I think the students should communicate. Communication is one of the very one of the very important thing that students should know. I have met my juniors, and I have got to know that they do not know their colleagues and friends on their class because of this, online classes and virtual stuff. So I think communication should be a bit more between the um, students so that they can get to know their surrounding background, surrounding society and friends, so that they can grow equally and learn many things from their friends and families and stuffs. So I think creating a very good environment around you is a very important thing. I believe in the first year itself, because that helps you grow very rapidly in the coming years.
Okay. So basically, interpersonal skill plays a very important role, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now focusing on your placement preparation, particularly starting from the first year, what languages did you prepare and what skills did you focus on?
So as I mentioned earlier, during this competition and stuff, I learned basically focused on the languages like C and C++ and also Python. So I have been working on these three languages from my first year itself. And I started working on the hackathons and coding competitions for my first year itself. I have participated in competitions like TCS Code Vita, which is a global competitions, and like a Hacker Rank and Core Chef. So during this time, I started working on the coding stuff only basically. Yes.
Oh, okay. So were there any competitions like hackathons or coding competitions that you participated in and would like to recommend others to do so?
Yes, so there are competitions like TCS Code Vita, which is a global coding competitions. So you can participate in that. So basically, you have given us a certain time to solve a few 5 or 6 questions. So during that time, you compete on a global level. So you get to know where do you stand in that crowd and how you can improve that in that aspect. So and hackathon competition, like there is a competition called a Smart India Hackathon. I have been a part of Smart India Hackathon previously. Basically, in hackathon, you have get chance to improve your presentation skills, leadership quality, and also technical stuff, because you have to present your project in on the global level.
So now talking about your projects, could you throw some light on what were the projects you built? And secondly, how important are these projects?
Okay, so I think projects play a very major role in your resume, because even though if you have not done any internship, you can show your talent using these projects. Because if you have done projects, that shows that you have done something in the technical aspect during these past 4 years. And up till now, I have done many projects in our robotics team, and also working on some projects on my stuff on my own. So the recent project that I'm working on is about augmented reality, and it is about an app development. So basically, I'm working on the latest technology and trying to improve myself in that aspect.
Okay. Uh, what were the different certification courses that you did and how helpful were those in your placements?
So there's a thing that in the students' mind that if you have any certificates, then you get placed or you get hired easily. That is completely wrong. The number of certifications do not matter at all. If you have any certain types of certifications like AWS certification or certifications that shows that you have completed this type of you have mastered the technology, that type of certificate is helpful in your future. And basically have done some certifications in the based on augmented reality stuff up till now and cybersecurity. So I think that help in my during they helped me in during the interview process, because there are companies that hire people in the sector of cybersecurity and upcoming technologies like augmented reality. That is why I choose the augmented reality stuff in my coming years. So yes,
Oh,
certificates do matter, but the quality type of certificates do matter.
yeah, absolutely. So, did you apply for both off-campus and on-campus placements?
Yes, I did apply for the on-campus and off-campuses. So there are companies that come on and on campus. You have to apply that. It's a compulsory for all of the students on the campus. And there are some sites like Monster, Indeed, Naukri.com where you can apply for the offline off-campus jobs. But during when you apply for off-campus jobs, you have to compete on the national level, and on campus you have to compete in your college level. So that is a major difference, because on-campus company always is always better, because there's a competition is a bit less, and there is a chance that you will get placed faster as compared to off-campus.
Okay. Now talking about persistent systems, first of all, could you give some insights about it and as well as your role in persistent?
Okay, so Persistent is one of the leading company in the IT sector. It actually works in the banking, financial, healthcare, and software end. So it actually provides solutions to the other companies, multinational companies. And I got a role of as a software engineer in the persistent systems.
Okay, great. So now coming to the interview rounds, how many rounds were there in the interview process?
So there were actually 3 rounds. The first one was the aptitude, where in which there's a MCQ based on aptitude, quants, then verbal and computer fundamental and database. And in the second round, there's a TR round, that is technical interview, and the last one is the HR assessment.
Okay. So what type of questions were asked in TR round?
So in TR round, so there is a basic pattern in the persistent system when they take the TR round. So they ask basic questions based on OOPS concepts, then polymorphism, then types of algorithms, do you know, sorting algorithms and all. And there is a coding question. There may be 2 coding question or 1 coding question. So it depends upon the interviewer. So they asked me about some of the questions like what is polymorphism, do you know inheritance, some basic stuff, and some questions based on databases, SQL questions, and computer fundamentals. And then there was a coding round, a coding question. So at that time, I was a bit confident that I can solve any questions that interview may ask, and I was well prepared for it, because I asked some of my friends what type of questions, and I had an idea that the questions will be about simple or about moderate level. So when they asked a question, I got a question. They told me to solve 3x3 matrix calculation and to sort them. So at that time, it was a bit different question, because I have it's been a while working on the matrices, so I was a bit shocked that it's a kind of different question. So I took some time think about the logic and started coding. So my TR interview was about 40 minutes, I guess. Yes, 40 to 45 minutes. And during that time, I think I solved the coding question very goodly, and I answered all the questions of the TR. Yes.
Okay. So what type of questions were asked in HR round?
So actually, it was not it was an HR assessment. So basically, it was a different type of HR assessment, in which it was a multiple choice based questions. So there will be a certain type of about 50 to 60 questions, in which there will be given 3 options, and you have to give your first, second, and third preferences. So there were questions like what define what kind of person you are, and there will be 3 different options, like you are an extrovert, you are an introvert, and etc, etc. So you have to give your preference for kind of questions, and depending on the as you move forward, the questions will be similar, and it will be some kind of tricky questions. You will see the pattern will be same. Pattern will be same, but the formulation of the questions will be a different type. Basically, there is an algorithm behind that questions, which finds what kind of person you are.
Okay. So how would you rate the difficulty level of questions?
So I think they were a bit about moderate level. Yes, they were moderate level questions.
Okay. Were there any tricky questions and how did you tackle those?
Yes, I think there was a tricky question. As I mentioned earlier, I got a coding question in my TR round. So during that time, I got stuck at an error. When I completed the code, I told the HR, I told the interviewer that I'm done with my code. You can check it now. So when she tried the code, I got an error, and at that time I was not able to find the bug. So at that time, I think properly and told HR that I'm not able to find that error. And then I told, can I explain the approach? How should I, what logic did I use behind it? And then she told, okay. So while telling the logic behind the code, I started debugging the code. And as I was going through that, and I found a bug, which was the very simple mistake. I just missed a semicolon in my code, and due to that, my code was not running. So at last, I think I solved all the questions, and I think that was a key part. So I think my brain worked very well in that situation. By telling the logic, I started debugging the code, and in that way, I solved the question. Yes.
Okay, that's really great. So, what efforts did you take to make your resume more effective? And secondly, what are the do's and don'ts that one should follow?
Okay, so I built my first resume in my, I guess, second year, second sem, I guess. Yes, the very first version. So before preparing that, I list down all the things that I've done up till now, and then handpicked the things that should I include in my resume. So my first version of resume was about 3 pages, which was quite big. After some consultation with the teachers, friends, and then I prepared the last version, which was only 1 page. So I think a resume should be at the most of 1 page. It should include only those things which you can explain properly to the interviewer if there is any question asked based on that. And all the things that you mention on your resume should be very honest and very true. There should be no any false thing that you have done up till now, and I've done blah 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 things. And if there is a question based on that, you should be able to answer that. So I've met many students that claim on the resume that they have done this sort of projects or this sort of certifications, but when the interviewer asks about them, they are not able to answer them. So please do not do this. Mention only those things that are true and you know about them, and you can talk about that. Yes.
Okay. So, did you do any internships?
No, I did not do any internship. I basically focused my last 2 years building on projects, because projects help, because in projects are an alternative for the internships.
Okay. Okay. What importance does your CGPA hold in your resume?
I think CGPA holds a quite importance, because if you want to showcase your talent to the interviewer, suppose if you're an university rank and you have a 10 pointer and you want to showcase that to the interviewer, then you can mention that on your resume, and then you can tell that you can also mention it in your introduction also. But CGPA also holds a very importance, because sometimes when the company comes on the campus, there is a certain criteria that you have to clear, satisfy before applying for that. But if you do not satisfy that criteria, some of the companies have criteria like your CGPA should be 6.5 or 7. But if you do not satisfy that criteria, then you are not able to apply for it. So that is why the interviewer should know what CGPA you have in your a true CGPA, not the false one on a resume.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think are the major barriers from getting a good job?
I think one of the major barrier is communication and confidence. I think, because I'm also working on that. Because if the person is not able to communicate properly with the person you are interviewing with, then you are not able to show your thought process or your logic, or you can say your talents. Communication plays a very important role, yeah, and I think that can be one of the major barrier, because if you are not able to communicate your talents and strengths to the interviewer, it may affect your placements. Yes, I think. And
Oh,
I think extracurricular activities also plays one of the major role, because if you're only focusing on the your academics, then in the interview you are not able to tell confidently that I have also working I have done also other stuff other than academics. Because other if you are interdisciplinary, if you have an interdisciplinary approach by during these engineering years, then it also helps in your placement. Yes.
okay. Uh, you're also the training and placement executive at JSPM's RSCOE. Would you like to share your experience working there?
Okay, so I joined the training placement So I became a training and placement executive in the third year, yes. So when I was working in as a team lead in our robotics lab, I found that I am lacking behind in my soft skills part. So that is why I got an opportunity to become a TPC. So during this time, I have improved a lot. I mean, a lot. I have been taking interviews of my juniors, then taking responsibilities, and also interacting with the new people, HRs. And during this time, I learned a very good thing, that is attention to detail. Because when you are TPC, you have to you have to be very attentive. You have to solve many problems and issues of the students that occur. So I think that is one of the very good skill that I achieved during this time when when I'm a TPC. Yes.
Okay. So, lastly, what message would you like to give to the viewers, especially budding engineers?
I think engineers should be interdisciplinary. You should not only focus on the your main branch, you should also learn from other branches. So if you are E&TC or CSIT student, you should also know some basic stuffs about the mechanical and other stuff. You should not only focus on your branch, you should know all about all other stuff and other branches, because you are an engineer. Engineer should know all the things, basic stuffs. And I think confidence and then persistent, I think you should everything you do should have a persistent and perseverance, and because of that you grow and improve. And I think one of my motive is to learn new things day by day and improve yourself and move ahead. That is yes, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Pranav. It was a great session and pleasure talking with you. All the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.